Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode number 23. This time we're reviewing the 23rd season of Case Closed, the shortest season in the entire series. It was roughly 24 episodes, 13 of whom were filler. And the episodes, now basically it covered episodes 716 to 739 of the anime. Here were the episodes that were filler, which were 716 to 721, 726, 729, 730, 733, and 735 to 737. And that's it. Yep, that is it. When it came to basically filler stuff. Yeah, it's odd though the fact that the first 6 episodes are all filler. Yeah, first time in a few seasons it's been like this. First off, we have a two-part called Demon Dancing in the Noah Mass Mansion. Yes, this one, involving 3 people who conspire to kill this curator because they don't like him. And plus one person had to conspire to his inheritance, stuff like that. Yeah, by the end of the case, all 3 people are all killed, including a friend of the curator's, who turns out was a very greedy individual. And then he gets and it turns out the person who actually killing all 3 people, actually who killed all 4. Yeah, it's actually the highest body count of a filler. 4 people, which I'm like, wow, that is something. Yep, and the person behind this was the curator's nurse. Yeah, the curator is not like a young strapping guy. It's an old man in a wheelchair. Yep, and she gets stabbed. Oh yeah, and it turns out that one of the conspirators was actually her half-sister. Yep. Yeah. And she later gets arrested, even though she was in defense, but nope, it was definitely murder. Then we have the Devil's Circuit. Ooh. This one was simply put a waste of a time of an episode. We introduced 3 individuals, a husband and wife, and the husband's, well, at least the wife's assistant. And it's suspected that the husband and the student, the female student, are having an affair. They interview these people, and then, the very next day, all 3 people end up dead. Is there a mysterious culprit? No, these 3 people killed each other via poison. I think all were poisoned. One was poisoned, the other one was stabbed. I'm like, after watching this episode, I realized that, yeah, this was a waste of a time of an episode. Yeah, it was just plain bad. Yeah, we're talking about, oh, we have a potential murder. Nope, it's a 3-way suicide. Well, it's basically people will kill each other. Next, we have a dispute of the platinum ticket. And this is pretty much about, oh, we have one person get their ticket stolen. And of course, well, over this concert. Yeah, and it turns out that, this one woman got her ticket from this other, who got the ticket from the guitarist, so she's dating. And another woman who also got the ticket from the same artist, who apparently is all singing as well. And then later in the episode, the guitarist is confronted and he gets slapped and he breaks up with her. Well, she breaks up with him. Yep. Oh yeah, and one of the people who actually got killed, yeah, it was okay, we have a guitarist who's basically cheating on his girlfriend for another woman. Yeah, one few times happened this season. Yes. This episode I just didn't really care for. And then we have a 2-part, and it was the Fire and Water Mystery Tour. This was interesting. Yep. Where a 7-year-old boy, who for some reason, and this I thought was really childish in a way, where Conan has a romantic rival for Ren's affections. His rival is a 7-year-old boy who keeps prancing around and basically acts like an adult even though he's a 7-year-old. No, this kid did not take the drug. He just basically acts like he's older. He's very protective of his mother. and he gets kidnapped. Oh, and the kidnapping thing is completely unrelated to like stealing these company secrets over this bear. Oh yeah, and the kidnapper turns out to be a cop who apparently the female detective actually knows, and his punishment for basically kidnapping this kid, a big slap in the face. Of course, he is arrested for kidnapping and false imprisonment. Yep. And it turns out the person who stole data involving, well, this bear stuff, believe it or not, was actually the president of the company's assistant. Yeah, he was behind this nonsense. But this was an interesting little two-parter. I kind of like it. Next we have the sweet and cold delivery service. Yeah, this one was a quite interesting one where they come across a cat that hangs at the Cafe Parrot, and it goes into a delivery truck, which apparently is also kind of functioning as a cold delivery, possibly delivering food. They get locked in there, and they get locked in up with two guys, and there is a dead body in here. Yeah, this was by far quite interesting one. Yep, and somehow they, of course, also that they go off this cat mainly because it caught its claw on Anita's sweater that she's wearing. And by the way, she's not wearing any shorts. I'm like, why in the world? Okay, she's wearing a sweater. It's hand knit. I think I remember from the manga. I think she did this herself. I'm like, okay. So all she was wearing was sweater and underwear. Like, you couldn't bother putting any shorts. What's wrong with you, Anita? And eventually, the sweater is destroyed. So Mitch, in a act of chivalry, gives her his coat. And it turns out that you probably think, okay, it looks like he's wearing a sweater underneath that, but no, it's just a t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt. Trust me, I've worn a long sleeve t-shirt. I don't like wearing them at all. It's very uncomfortable, basically, because you have your arms basically like covered up with cloth, and I had to wear one of these when I visited Chicago about 8 years ago. I didn't like wearing these at all. When I came home, I never wore a long sleeve t-shirt ever again because I just found these things to be so uncomfortable. Yep. Mitch himself basically there suffers from partial frostbite, and in order to warm up, Anita basically takes the jacket with her in it and wraps it around Mitch. Very adorable little moment. Oh yeah, and they eventually get help thanks to a receipt they actually sent out. Well, that Mitch had in his wallet. A taxi receipt. Okay, so Connie makes the code, and because they're in the right area for Cafe Parrot, sends off to the thing. The waitress finds it, though the Bushi flies away, and then Bourbon goes after it. Well, Amuro basically is Bourbon. Yeah. I'll claim sick. Basically, don't need to pay me today. Yeah, so he goes out, get the thing, finds out about what's going on, takes his sweet car, which I'm thinking, though, he's a detective, so I guess he can probably afford that, despite the fact he doesn't have a detective agency. I'm sure he probably has some a PI license, but yeah, I'm like, where the heck do he find time to afford this car? Well, my personal guess, unlike Richard Moore, who spends his money on playing mahjong or going to horse races or buying curry, he saves his money on a freaking car. Because almost any time you see Richard Moore, he's always getting a rental. Because that's apparently all he can afford. Apparently. Yep, so Bourbon comes along, despite the fact Conan and Anita know the fact he's a part of the Men in Black. He's with basically the Black organization. He rescues them. Yeah, he takes out one guy, punching him really hard in the gut, knocking him right out. The guy just runs right away. It's quite hilarious how the heck this is resolved. Yep, all over a cat. Yep. And then we have a two-part, first of two, that feature Missouri Sarah. Yep. And a two-part which you can have as a first ever encounter with the Kato Kid. In this two-parter, the Kato Kid is after a turtle with jewels on it. Does he steal it? Now, the thing is kept in this big, huge tank. And there's a special carpet in there. Now, they trick. Now, apparently, the girls, basically Sarah, Rachel, and Serena, along with Serena's cousin uncle, and a few guards, along with the inspector, constantly chases the Kaito kid, gets caught up in this carpet trick that somehow, and no one notes the fact that Sarah basically gripped onto the carpet while everybody's basically almost flying into the damn tank. And think, oh, the turtle was stolen. Nope, the uncle had it all along. Yep. But here's the thing. Sarah, when she's come to this thing, turns out that the whole time this was going on, this was actually not Sarah. This was the Kaito kid. The Kaito kid doesn't even know the fact that Sarah was a woman. He's like, I'm wondering why that, like, Conan mentions that, like, I'll let you go because you didn't steal anything. But she will let you go. Yeah. Like, I was wondering why, you mean she's a girl? I wonder why her underwear was so short. Yeah, and she was hiding in the men's room. It was so hilarious how she broke out. As soon as she broke out, she's running around in her underwear. Basically a top with thin straps and basically regular panties. Yeah, regular underwear, and just runs around and kicks him right in the face for taking her clothes. And it's later revealed why she was in the men's room. Because apparently the women's room at Western was so full, it's like, okay, I'll go to the men's room. And because she looks like a guy anyways, so because she's a tomboy. Yeah, so she beats him up, and then he gets away via his glider. It's so hilarious. And he leaves her clothes behind. And of course, they mention the whole thing about her hat, that this is, of course, mentioned back in the Jet Black Mystery Train. But this was a fun two-parter. Yeah, just pure fun. And don't worry, he does come back next season. You don't have to wait too long for his next... Oh, I mean, his next appearance in the very next season comes exactly 7 episodes into season 24. So, not very long. And then comes a standalone episode called Happy Email Brings Sadness. Yeah, this one was an odd one, and it turns out it was actually the boyfriend who did this. Yeah, it was a teacher. Turns out he was the one who actually killed her. It was suspected it was a stalker or ex-boyfriend who actually killed her, but nope, he was attempted murder. And it turns out the other guy killed her. And then we come the treasure with filled with fruits. And this features a return of the actor who plays Detective on TV. This is technically his last appearance in the anime. He does make an appearance in a cameo, but that's the last time we see him. As in the case of, and we also have Yoniko appears in this one. Yep, and her only appearance this whole season. She disappears for a while after this. Yeah, in the case of Detective, this is first appearance in episode 666. This by far was a fun little two-parter. Oh, and this is the last time Sarah appears in the season until the start of the next season. Though she's in there for a good chunk of the next season, like at least 10 episodes out of 39, which is not bad. Better than this season, where it was only 4. Yep. The murder victim is basically a food critic found in a crate. Yeah, and they explain this 3 times of how this whole crate thing works. Basically, this food curator who procures this fruit, puts it in his chest, puts a special lock on it, and then sends to the producer. He puts his own lock on it, sent back. The food curator takes his own lock off, and then once to get back to the studio, once on the show, they basically have the producer unlock it. Though it's basically the guy who shows up does it. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's doing this now, despite the fact that here's kind of the thing with this one. He's on TV playing a detective, and yeah, he's hosting a food show. Maybe a show got canceled. It's possible. Yeah, but don't specifically say what happened to it. And of course, Richard Moore just had. Now, how Sarah get involved with this thing? Well, Conan insists on basically inviting her, and he asks her, like, have you met before? He says, I won't reveal that to you just yet. That's teasing for later. Yep, let's see, what else? Oh yeah, they revealed that the person who killed this food critic was the assistant director. Yep, and the reason for this? Because he caught him peeking into his chest when he was not supposed to. and telling the champion exactly what it is. The guy scores this guy for cheating anyways. Yeah, and how he killed them is like, okay, bang his thing against the chest, and then and how he basically would keep the chest like look like it was locked. We had the fact this little tube he put in the end makes it look like it's locked, but nope, it really isn't. Yep. And he sets them with apples. Oh yeah, and they apparently have is where he apparently took 10 apples, put it in a blender, and he drank it. With seeds and ends and all. Yep. And like Poison's like, oh, he'd be fine. Yeah, thanks to him going number 2 later, he's basically arrested on the spot. Yep. And this is the last time we see Sarah for 12 episodes. Yep, she's absent for this 11. Yep, and then we have 2 standalone filler episodes. One's called The Diamond, The Painting of the Great Actress. Yep, this one basically involves an actress who Richard was a fan of, and she's killed via fire. How in the world she's killed is basically, this is a little bizarre. Yeah, quite interesting, but it's also kind of bizarre. Yeah, apparently the stepdaughter redirected these 3 mirrors on this display case to reflect off this big mirror on the wall, this wall mirror, and reflect right in this painting, and that's how they started the fire. And the reasoning for this, because she treated her like a stepchild instead of treating her like an actual daughter. Oh yeah, and apparently her son and her daughter, the one who's actually blood related to her, they actually get the split inheritance. She gets nothing. Yep. Yeah. And apparently she also did her father. Yeah. Yeah, it's particularly odd episode. And then we have That Figure Was Too Good. This one I had to basically make sure I talk about this one. This features a particular place known as the Big Shape. Yeah, it's a real place in Tokyo. I've seen it in one other anime, believe it or not. Yes. This is the Tokyo Big Sight. If you've seen the anime, now I've only seen this. Now the only anime I've seen this in is actually, believe it or not, the first two seasons of Digimon. Yes, the first season Digimon actually featured this building, and it's basically a convention center. Yeah, apparently they have anime cons there like every year, so why not have it there? Though the con they're having here, the convention, is about models. Okay, and there's this guy who the kids are big fans of, and it turns out he was killed by a rival one who basically was also indebted to him. Oh yeah, and he was also playing like it was girlfriend, beautiful girlfriend, mind you. And it's all about basically paints. Yep. Oh yeah, and they find the murder weapon. The fact was painted green. Yep. Yeah, and that's basically the reason why I killed him. But this is a fun one. Very interesting too. I love seeing this building again. Though I try to look up online if there's any other anime that features this building. And honestly, it's so difficult to find a list of basically other shows that this building is physically appeared in. I mean, when it appeared in Digimon, it was told as basically a place. It was basically a feature when they have Myotismon show up, when they had the parents of like a lot of the kids who live in Tokyo basically in this building, and they're all unconscious thanks to, I think it's like Ghostmon, I think it is, and he just knocks them off via like chanting. The guy's defeated anyways, and then the parents are woken up, and then eventually the Myotismon really wants to eat these adults. Luckily enough, this doesn't happen. It does reappear briefly, I believe, in season 2, but after that, it doesn't appear again. And it's nice to see this building again in different series aside from Digimon, because a lot of the series I've watched take place in Tokyo has never featured any of this building at all. I mean, I haven't watched that many anime that takes place in modern day, much less in Tokyo. So it's great to see this building. And there's another building that's featured a little bit later that is a real life building and actually has not been open very long. This one's been open since, let's see. This building was opened back, I believe back in the 70s, I think it was, wasn't it? Let's see. Yeah, Tokyo Big Sight. It's this big, humongous convention. It's not a traditional one like you see here. It is basically this kind of like four upside down triangles. I'll look at a picture right now. This was opened back in 1996. Oh yeah, and apparently, believe it or not, this is going to be the venue for the 2020 Olympics. Yep. Yeah. This is what 2020 Olympics is going to be featuring. If anybody can find me another anime basically that this building is featuring, please list the comments below because, like I said, only the second anime I've seen this building featured. And then we have a two-parter part of the Metropolitan Police love story, where it's called "The Ex-Boyfriend Living Next to the Crime Scene," where we see the first appearance of a guy named Takechi Hata, who is Yumi's ex-boyfriend. Yep, and this also return of Sarnako, the maid from the optic illusion case. Yeah, in her second appearance in the series. She has appeared one other time after this in the current season. The one that's airing right now in Japan. Basically, season 20. I haven't got to 27 yet. Yep. This is a return. Apparently, after she stopped being maid at that place, she became a community maid. She works for this family. And basically, she's also a childhood friend of Nimiko, who was Kaba's childhood sweetheart. And, of course, Kaba still hasn't realized it yet. Yeah, in case you're wondering, when the heck does he finally realize that this beautiful ponytail woman is, in fact, his childhood friend? He does not realize this until, like, chapter 1000, and I think it's like 1016. Yeah, it was actually just very recently finally realized it. Though it probably won't be airing. Probably airing soon. Probably in the next few months because the anime is very slow adapting stuff. Yep. Though he does remember the maid. Yep, he does remember the maid, but he still doesn't recognize that's the woman he loves standing right behind her. Yeah, and Conan's like, hey, you remember me? Yeah, of course he does remember from the Absolution case. And of course everybody's shocked to see her. Yep, and the murder victim is a older woman who was killed by her husband due to the fact that she put her in massive debt, and also apparently that he wanted to save money for help his son buy a car. And she was addicted to buying stocks. I'm like, why? Okay, and what company was she buying in? They never revealed that in this episode, but this was a interesting one. Great to see her, Sarko, and Yumi's ex-boyfriend. Here's the thing: she's by the end of the episode, she doesn't realize her ex-boyfriend was a shogi player, and he's good at it. And that can explain how good he's a sort of detective. It seems like a lot of times detectives tend to do something aside from being a detective. Like look at Conan, he loves soccer. This guy is a shogi player, and he wears glasses. Apparently, when he's playing, he doesn't wear glasses. And what Kurt tells I tell Yuko basically later about the fact her ex is a shogi player, she thinks it's something else. Yeah, she's oblivious to it. Yeah. Of course, this guy's there. There'll be more stuff about him later. Next, we have a hour-long special, Jodie's Memories and the Cherry Blossom Viewing Trip. Yeah, this is a follow-up to the Jet Black murder mystery, where Conan reveals that the Scar Aki was actually Berman and Vermouth. Yep, and they're actually in this hour-long special. This is the first one in a couple seasons, and this is the third to last one they actually have in the series. The last known one they actually have in season 26. I actually looked it up. Well, this one basically it's over. Like he informs her about bourbon and what happened with Scaraki. Yeah, basically inform what happened to the Jet Black mystery case, and there's sort of follow up to the train thing. That actually is more follow up a little bit later at the end of the season. In this case, actually reference later. And they have like three people get pickpocketed by this woman who put these like 5 yen basic painted black in their wallets as a thank you for sort of taking their wallets. Apparently, Jody's was taken. Apparently, she didn't notice the fact her wallet was taken, but the other was taken from what was cash. I mean, all our credit cards still there, and apparently a coaster from Aki, which, believe it or not, you think was Scar Aki. I think it was from the actual one, not the Hut Scar. Yep. Let's see what else. Yeah, this is by far Jody's only appearance the whole season. She's referenced in the last episode, but she doesn't make a physical appearance. I think this is the first time in about a couple. I think this is the first time since episode 651 that she's actually appeared. Yeah, I kind of thought basically by watching this, and once I read the story, the chapter this was adapted from, which was basically 850, 852. Yep. Of course, they have flashbacks to the Clash, Red or Black, 14-parter, and the Robber Case one. Yeah, it's been like at this point in the anime, because this is episode 734. It's been almost 100 episodes since her last physical appearance in the series, which I think was back in season 20. I think it was 21. Yeah, I think that was her last known appearance in the series, which was also the first time that Sarah's been a hour-long special. Yep. And of course, feel that one of the people involved in this was actually Berman, and his pregnant wife was actually Vermouth. It's implied that these two have a sexual relationship, but it's never delved into. After that, then we have a string of 3 filler episodes: The Coded Invitation, The Secret of the Statue of Cory McMurray, and The Suspicious Walking Path. Yes. The Coded Invitation. This one is basically returns to the Bell Tower, which last time I think it appeared was actually in... The last time I saw this place in the anime was actually the 3rd time that Conan turned back into Jimmy. And they even showed the same restaurant in this very episode. This episode is basically a prelude into the 18th film, which I didn't know that. Of course, I'm watching the film later, but yeah. And the elephant is shooting basically over her 2-time boyfriend who got married to a different woman despite the fact she was dating this guy. Yeah, as for the reason why he was doing this, never revealed. It's just a quick little standalone episode. Though it does lead into something, but not something serious. Nope, next episode has nothing to do with this at all. Nope. The Secret Statue of Richard Moore. No, it's called Cory Moore, basically Richard Moore. Yeah, this one's involving a wealthy man who gets murdered over a misunderstanding. Yeah, one of several times this happened in the series. And he's killed by the butler. And of course, he's killed while they were just chasing him disguised as a thief. And Richard Moore has to basically chase him across his town in his backyard. Yep, and his wife, believe it, now he was 56 when he died. She's 26. Basically, she's 30 years younger than he is. She's not much older than her stepson, who's 21. Apparently, her stepson is actually the only child of this guy. So, yeah, he's not having any more kids. And since he died, that means the money goes to her and the son. And something, though, I guess the old stereotype, the butler did it. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. The Suspicious Walking Path. An old lady gets killed, and she's killed by her neighbor. Over debt. Yeah, it was her debt the reason why that was. Yeah, it's not that interesting of an episode. And then we have the 2-parter that ended the season. Kaguru in a bar. Yes, part of this episode I had to fast forward because I felt so bored watching this episode. Why? Though the episode does basically follow up on the hour-long special, the whole thing is basically him acting like a hardboiled detective, having inner monologue. I'm like, really? Richard Moore, a guy who half the time is not very interesting of a character anyways, except when he's going to his sleeping mode. Oh yeah, and the bartender who you think believe it or not, this woman is actually 26, so it makes her about 12 years younger than he is. And he thinks this woman has a thing for him, but she really doesn't. Nope, he is just Yeah, it's all missing. Yeah, the whole thing about him being hired by her to solve like a corking sound. Yeah, that doesn't go anywhere, and basically this guy gets killed, and this is over like a suicide of a friend. Yeah, and plus also he got a poster with of it. I know he's infatuated with Yoniko. Yep, early appearance in the season is a poster. Yeah, why not? Trying to think though. Yeah. Also, Richard Moore just Conan disappears, and of course he races out to figure out what the heck is going with the whole thing with the episode. And yeah, this two-parter, aside from the whole thing with Jody and a little bit of Case, this two-parter was just not interesting at all. Though it is a canon episode, but it's just I felt kind of bored watching this. I had to fast forward several times through it because I just want to get this episode done and over with because I just felt so bored. Yeah, it's by far the most boringest Case I have ever seen in the entire. I've never felt this bored in quite some time for this series. So yeah, that's a good start for the season though. As why the first two episodes were basically a two-parter. It's a suspense of keeping Rachel and Conan in a locker room while they try to kill the curator, which they fail. Yep. But excuse me, the season, in my opinion, I have some negative things. Like one thing, ended on a boring episode, having about a little over half the episodes being filler, and having only 4 episodes feature Missouri Sarah. Yeah, that's my negative against it. I mean, in the case of the final 2 episodes, my only highlight, thing I enjoyed about the two-parter was the animation and the whole follow up to the hour-long special. That's really it. Yep. Oh, before I close with this video, this season was adapted from chapters 828, 830, and 841, 855, and that's it. Yep. Roughly 18 chapters. Yeah, that's all they adapted for this season. Yep. Yeah. So next season, started with next season, for the next 3 seasons, it's all the same high amount of episodes. 39, 24, 26, all 39 apiece. As when I would do next season 24, probably sometime next week. Yeah. At least I'll get a chance to get started with the season. Probably not tonight per se, probably tomorrow. So yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. I have no other videos planned for today. So yeah, tomorrow I have no videos planned. So next time privacy video, maybe tomorrow. I probably have a novel review to do. Yeah, novel review. But till you see next video. Bye.